The Steelcase Karman is finally here, but does it have what it takes to compete with the big players like the Aeron, Zodi, and Fern? One of my favorite features of high-end ergonomic chairs is their ability to flex with you as you move around in your chair. But there's a problem. I also love sitting in mesh chairs. Mesh chairs and flexible frames typically don't mix. Enter the Karman. This is the first mesh chair I've come across with a truly flexible seat frame and backrest frame. At about $1,100, the Karman has a price point $300 to $500 less than similarly spec'd out high-end mesh chairs. So it may seem unfair to make comparisons to chairs like the Aeron, Fern, or Zodi. But Steelcase's marketing claims that it's designed to be more comfortable than leading mesh chairs. So when it comes to comfort, I feel it's fair to compare them. And for the most part, the Karman holds its own. Since the Karman just missed out on being in our recent tier list, I'll give you my rankings at the end. Steelcase advertises that the Karman responds automatically to your body as you sit and change postures in every direction. Going through these different postures, there's definitely some nice flexibility as you shift your weight from side to side in the chair. And as you push your weight forward into the seat, there is some give in the seat pan, but it is still a relatively hard frame. It's not a leap level flex, but it's enough to allow for some movement. The flexibility in the backrest is where the Karman really shines. It's a similar flex that you would get from the Hayworth Fern. When you pair the frame flexibility with the weight-activated mechanism, reclining in the chair feels very natural. Now, it's not the deep, smooth recline that you get in an Aeron, but the Karman succeeds in encouraging you to move in the chair. I was able to talk to a Karman product manager at Steelcase. He described the Karman as a chair that is great for those who like to fidget or move around a lot during the day. So if you like to stay active, this is a chair you should consider. The Karman's backrest borders on S-tier comfort for me. The Karman features what they call live back technology, providing support for your weight while also allowing movement. I feel the closest comparison to another Steelcase chair would be the Gestures backrest. Even though they're very different in many ways, they both give you that cradled feeling. Not everyone loves to feel cradled, but personally I really like it. Due to the Karman's mesh backrest, it gives more of a suspended feeling than the Gesture, spreading out your weight throughout the whole back. I love how the top portion of the backrest flexes as I push my shoulders back into the frame. It manages to stay comfortable even when you aren't perfectly centered on the chair, a feature that most mesh back chairs can't claim. When it comes to lumbar, I would only add the additional support if you feel you need more support on your mid-back. When placed in the lower lumbar area, I couldn't feel a ton of additional support. As you'll see from all of Steelcase's marketing for the Karman, they never showed the chair with the additional lumbar. This leads me to believe they don't really feel you need it, and I would agree. For me, there was plenty of built-in lumbar support designed into the shape of the frame. And let's be honest, the chair just looks nicer without it. According to Steelcase's website, designing the seat became a primary focus for the team as they worked to create a new level of comfort. It's easy to see the innovation put into the design of the seat. The Herman Miller embody changed the cushion seat game by designing a pixelated support system under a thin pad. Now the Karman is changing the mesh seat standard by adding a pad under the suspended mesh. In my first week sitting in the chair, I found after about 2 to 3 hours of sitting, I was ready for a change. This might not sound great, but I feel this is pretty typical for any chair. Getting up to walk around or spend some time standing at my desk gave me the relief I needed so I could go back to sitting in the Karman. Typically moving around into different sitting positions helps me stay in a chair longer. While the Karman will flex with you as you recline and shift your weight, I wouldn't plan on any cross-legged positions. I like to sit with one leg up under my other leg. But contrary to how they make it look in some of Steelcase's marketing, this is not comfortable in the Karman. You'll still feel the hard edge of the seat frame on your leg. If this is one way you'd like to sit, I would stick to a cushioned seat. The rubbery flex edges in the seat frame succeed in allowing for some movement, but they still haven't completely solved the issue of mesh chairs having hard seat frames. The real problem with the seat is the lack of seat depth adjustment. At 6'2", I don't love how I feel like so much of my legs are hanging off the front of the seat. It's not necessarily a pain point, but I'm suspecting that the small seat is causing extra pressure on my sit bones. I think the sweet spot for this chair would be between the 5'2" and 5'10" range. Even Ryan at 5'9" felt he could use a little bit more seat depth. In talking with Steelcase, they described that because the seat moves with you, it simulates having more seat depth. Since this video is just my first impressions, I'll need to give this seat more time before giving a full review, but I did feel it was a bit too small and too firm for my liking. Steelcase has included what they call a comfort dial on the Karman, giving you 4 different options for how you want to recline in the chair. The 4 options are weight-activated full recline, a tension boost with approximately 20% extra resistance, mid-stop recline with that 20% boost, and finally an upright lock. I'm very picky about my recline tension. I like to find that perfect spot mid-recline and stay in that position to work. And the Karman feels just right at that 20% boost setting. This is a major upgrade from the Steelcase Think chair, where the recline tension was never strong enough for me. In the Think, I'm always wishing the chair would push back harder against my back. My wife loved that she could finally recline in one of my chairs without needing to make any adjustments. The fact that each of us could hop in the chair and use it proved that Steelcase's desire to make an intuitive and responsive chair really worked. Unfortunately, the arms are a bit of a disappointment on the Karman. I've become so accustomed to Steelcase's chairs having excellent arms. Leading the way are the Gesture and Leap, but even cheaper chairs like the Amiya and Think feature premium arms. I found they were fine for general tasking, both in adjustment and comfort, but they are just not great for relaxing. Using a device with these arms is not a great experience. The pads are just too firm. They remind me more of arm pads from budget chairs, where there's a hard edge and then a softer middle. The biggest problem with the arms is that it's very easy to get pinched. If you're the type that likes to fidget with your chair arms, this is a serious concern. There are some positives to talk about with the arms. I do love the looks. They really feel custom designed for the chair. They are also tight in the sense that they stay where you want them to without a lot of play. Considering this is a lower priced chair compared to Steelcase's flagship products, I assume this is one area where they cut some costs. Overall, the build quality on the Karman is great. The materials are well made and everything was designed to fit together very well. The opaque mesh fabric of our Karman is very soft and of excellent quality. In talking with Steelcase, I learned that you should expect the same experience using either the mesh or opaque fabric. The fabric will just feel a bit softer. Looking at the chair, you get the sense that each aspect was specifically designed to be part of the Karman. The only exception here is that the additional lumbar support feels a bit of an afterthought, both in functionality and in quality of materials. It's definitely too soon to say how well the Karman will hold up over time, but I expect it will outlive its 12-year warranty. Right now, here's how I would rank the Karman. I'm going to be spending much more time in this chair, so I can give you a more thorough review and we'll see if my ratings will change.